Okay, let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Juan Fernando Jacome Miranda, and today I'm going to guide you through a detailed segment of one of my English classes. In show you how I work on cultural integration through individual learning activities and how I encourage students to make meaningful connections between mathematical concepts and cultural practice from diverse communities like could be pagans, Catholics, evangelists, Judists. And before we begin, I want to mention that this lesson is from my Wither unit. We will explore how language, math, and culture interact. So, in this video, you will not only see what the students do, but also the reasoning behind each teaching decision I make. So, let's get started. So, we are going to start with in this lesson that I do for this work, the main objectives is for students to recognize how culture influences daily activities involving numbers, such as measuring, buying and selling, organizing community works, preparing crafts, and even participating in traditional celebrations like could be Christmas, St. Valentine, and things for that style. Even though most of the activities are done individually, the structure of the class promotes moments of interaction through guided questions, short exchange, and reflective sharing. By the end of the lessons, the students should be able to identify mathematical operations in real-life cultural contexts, describe them in simple understand the connection between math and their everyday experience. So, to begin the class, I always like to activate prior knowledge. So, I start with a warm-up question to encourage them to think about their own background. I say, think about your own culture or community. What is one activity where numbers are important? Question go for you too. And left in the comments the answer to this question. Think about your own culture or community. What is one activity where numbers are important? This could be like selling products or brewing one or organizing some events because you need to get a very large list to do something of that style like as holiday celebration because you need to get a very specific list of how many people could come to know how many plates to prepare and don't get any problem to letting someone without food because this was a very disrespectful. So I give them a few seconds to think and then they start sharing one by one. One of the answers that I like is to listen. A student can share in her idea about work with her dad, selling products on the weekends. So students usually give examples such as cooking special dishes that require measuring ingredients, like a tablespoon of salt on a pinch of ground pepper, quantities that you need to exactly know to make the recipe correctly. Things like selling fruits or vegetables in the market, preparing weaving patterns, calculating time during festivities, counting animals on a farm, or keeping track of materials when making handicrafts. So after they asked, I provide short and supportive feedback to maintain participation. I say things like, great, in your community, cooking use measurements. Excellent, sharing, selling products requires adding and dividing. Nice example. Weaving requires counting and repeating patterns. So this initial part is important, a very important one, because it helps students to feel represented and recognized. It also allows me to highlight the cultural diversity inside the classroom and create a safe environment where students feel confident speaking in English, even if their answers are short or long, because a student comes more her life or minus this one. Anyone got a different expectative of her lives. So with this, we start with the class, the serious class. So after the warm-up, I introduce a short cultural example. This visual moment helps students make a direct connection between the lesson and the real life or his life because remember, some students could be stay on this group of cultural. Depending on the day, I show something related to indigenous weaving patterns, farmers distributing seeds, artisans selecting materials for crafts, or community leaders organizing food for local events. Things like share for the homeless people, things of the style. I take my time to explain the vocabulary step by step, using many students need clarity to understand, for instance, I define words like pattern, repeat, share, equal. I might say, for example, to get them a clear idea of how to use it. In this pattern, they repeat the same shape 3 times. This is a multiplication because this could be possible like in some animals because remember they can share a serial pattern about hair shades or some points on her fur. When they share results equally, they use division. This was a good example of how to share with other ones because they know if they divide the things of the half, they can share in an amount. This is a really good one. And for the last one, for example, saying here, when farmers calculate how much seed to use, they apply mathematical reasoning because you are not going to buy a big amount of seeds to we are knowing how much approximately you will need to get out at your farm because you can need more or you gonna buy so many than the usually you need because without mathematical reasoning you can make mistakes that could be in simple ways a big problem. And after that, I ask students to identify something similar in their own community. But in this one instance, even though that it is a individual, they don't need so many answers. Like it could be for, they could be like a student say her community on her town made a celebration for the Day of the Child. They give her a present, ice creams, cake, candies, and made something that they call share together and make connections between the kids. to get new friends. This was a really, really good idea because the kids need some support in her lives. So this show share out how reinforce the idea that culture people use math because we are knowing everything on this in this culture got influence on math, like science to buy it as something or selling something, and count how many days of the year have passed or what day of the week is. So let's start with the principle. After introducing the cultural example, the student work with an individual worksheet specifically designed to connect math problems with culture. The worksheet includes short scenarios inspired by real community practice, such far such as this could be, for example, a craftswoman make 4 bracelets each day for 5 days. How many bracelets does she make in total? So, taking it, we can proceed with the solution. It says she makes 4 bracelets each day. So we got an amount of 4 and say she makes it for 5 days. So we multiply the one by the other one. So 4, 4 times 5, the answer is 20. So she makes 20 bracelets in 5 days. And this other one, a community leader divide 24 foods or portion equality among 6 families. How many portions do 6 families receive? So it say we got 24 rations. It could be in a more easy way. And he say we got. So we divide it by divide 24 divide 6, we could get a result of every family get 4 rations to survive the problems that they could be having. And other one, a farmer plants 3 rows of corns with 12 seeds in each row. How many seeds do he use? So we go with this one. So it says he got 3 rows and we got 12 seeds. We got a total of 12 seeds in each row. So we need to multiply the 12 seeds for 3. The result could be 30 seeds he needs to use in total. Now pass with other one. A group of artisans share 30 colored beads to make necklace. You know the beads, the levels that a necklace could have. They divide the beds into 5 equal groups. How many beds got in each group? So we're going to need a division. 30 divide 5. So we start with the multiplication table of the 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 5 times is 20. 5 times 5, we got 25. 6 times 5, we got 30. So the answer is 6 to make the necklace. And during the final one, during a celebration, a family prepares 8 plates of food for 7 days. How many plates do they prepare in total? So it says a family prepare in total in one day 8 plates and do it for 7 days. So we need to multiply 8 times 7, and the answer could be by 56 plates in total during these days. So we need to interact. So while the students work, I walk around the classroom to observe their strategies. This part is essential because it allows me to understand how the student thinks, who needs support, and who is making a strong connection. As I move around, I ask guiding questions such as, what part of the problem tells you this is multiplication? Or how do you know each family gets the same amount? Or can you show me with drawings or objects? Or what numbers are important in this situation? Or is this similar to something in your community? The question helps the students not only arrive at the correct answer, but also reflect on the reasoning behind it. This covers mathematical thinking and English practice at the same time because they need to interact with some other persons that they usually. So when the class finishes the worksheet, we move into sharing phase. I ask a few students selected randomly to present their recognition. Students usually say things like, this reminds me of how my grandmother distributes food during celebrations, or this is similar to the way artisans in my neighborhood sell products. All farmers in my community also count roles like this. And in my family, we divide food like that we can share with neighbors. I take a moment to acknowledge their ideas and highlight diversity. I say, thank you for sharing. This shows me how culture and math work together in the daily life. In this session is very important because it helps the students listen to each other, respect different perspectives, and see how the classroom as a space where everyone brings valuable knowledge. So this principally, I need, close the session. And the class can then got a duration of more of 55 minutes. So to close this lesson, I ask a reflective question to help students understand the purpose of everything we did. Why is it important to recognize cultural practices we will learn math? The question encourages deep thinking. So the student could answer things like, because we understand different perspectives, or it connects a school to real life, or we can learn from each other. I highlight and recognize cultural helps students see maths not as something distant, but as something meaningful and practical. It also reforms respect for diversity and encourages pride in their own finish the video. I want to thank you for watching this extended recording of a class seminar. My purpose on sharing this example is to show you how cultural integration promotes student participation, comprehension, and respect for diversity. Because the diversity is something important for the society. Because it's so big to be only close in some cultural ideas. By connecting mathematics, language learning, and cultural identify, students develop academic skills while also strengthening their sense of belonging and cultural awareness. I hope you found this example useful, and I look forward to continue to design more inclusive and culturally relevant lessons. So, thank you very much, and if we don't see, good day, good afternoon, good evening, goodbye.